We live.
What's good, people? You know what day it is? It's Thursday, Hotep Thursday. Back at it again. Episode 99 of Hotep's Been Told Ya. I am Uncle Hotep. He is Hotep Jesus. Week, I don't know, 8 of the lockdown.
Week 35.
Week 35. What I don't fucking know, man. Nobody knows. People stop. I stopped counting. I'm just waiting. It's like I don't know. You didn't watch The Wire, but one of the characters, I forget his name. He said, "You go into jail. You only count 2 days: the day you go in and the day you go out." So I'm only counting the day we get out, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
stop counting the weeks, man. Forget it.
yeah.
Thanks for everybody coming in. Please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that share button. Um, thanks, Chad, with the early donation. Let's get this out the way off the rip. There's no black on black crime tonight's episode. How was your week, man?
You got jokes early.
I mean, what did you do today, man? Listen. I was my daughter. She was doing all these activities, right? And now they're done. She was doing karate, she was doing gymnastics, and she was doing dance. So that was her physical exercise. So all that's done, and she's gained the COVID 13, 19. The COVID 19 gave her 19 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta cut this out. So we went to the other day we went to the park and we just walked around like 3 times around the park. It's like you walk 4 times a mile. I told her, I was like, we come back to the park, we're running. And she likes to run everywhere, you know what I mean? Like everywhere she goes, she just hauls ass. She's one of those kids. So I was waiting for furniture to get delivered today. I was like, we got time. Let's go to this park. And we went out there and I was like, you ready? She's like, yeah. We did the first lap. She was all being goofy. She's 6 years old. And she would start running real fast. And then she was like trying to be a superhero running. By the time we was getting, we bent into the corner to the last run. Here she goes. I was like, you better not quit on me. You better not quit. Right? So she ended up, she made it. She was like almost in tears, like, I'm like, hey, just come on. But you feel better, right? She was like, yeah, I do. I feel better. I was like, I thought we was just going to do one lap around her. Gave her some water. She caught her breath. And she was like, I want to do it again. Well, this time she was doing it right. She was jogging right. She even took off ahead of me. I was just like, I'm just going to keep my pace.
Yeah.
Got to that bend again. Here it went again. But she got a little further this time, But it was the same thing. Like I had to push her to the end. I was like, "You better not quit! You better not quit!" She was like, "Oh," so about to, she's a drama queen. About to give tears. I was like, "Come on!" But she ended up finishing. So I was kind of proud. It was like half mile. So I was like, "It's a start." It's a start. So
Yeah.
I'm doing this to try to get her back in shape, man, because you know this lockdown it affects people more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people that had kids that were doing sports and stuff like that, you got to keep on them or they're just going to get quickly out of shape and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with kids is they don't know how to pace themselves. So,
No, she don't.
they run in a straight sprint and then they wondering why their body giving out on them.
Right.
I remember one time, I'm training my boys. And I think I had taught them sit-ups or crunches or something. So I go in this room later and he in there crying. I'm like, what's wrong? They like, my stomach. I'm like, you got stomach ache? It's like, yeah. I was like, damn, did you eat something? He's like, no, I was doing crunches. I was like, well, how many did you do? I think he said he did some stupid number like 60 or 100. I was like, yo, you can't do that many at one time. Yo, like you bugging. But kids they don't know how to pace themselves. Like, sometimes when you get that high from exercise and you going through the reps,
Yeah.
and you don't pace yourself, your muscle will just cramp up on you. It'll seize up on you as exercise and see, normally like with us, we do like train exercises, adults, you do like, 3 sets with 12 reps apiece or whatever. Now with
Yeah.
kids, man, they trying to do all the sets in one set. I mean, all the reps in one set, you know. But yeah, now that's dope. I did the same thing with my boys. We go outside and we play football every day. Because they homeschool. So it's like, normally they would have gym or something during the day and then come
Yeah.
home with me and then we'll hit the park. So, every day this week. Today was nice.
Yeah, it was nice today.
Today was nice. I want to say it was in the 80s. Had to be in the 80s. Because I ain't need no jacket. The other few days I had a jacket. I had a hoodie on, you know. But today was like, I was outside all day today. And,
Yeah.
because of the events that occurred last night, I, I was on the phone all day
Yeah.
today. You know what I mean? Just talking to everybody. Shout out to Sunny Johnson. I know she's in the chat listening. Appreciate you, Sunny. I spoke to Sunny this morning. She gave me some words of advice, blah, blah, blah. And, I apologize to her, for my behavior last night. Cause, you know, what y'all saw last night wasn't Hotep Jesus.
Okay.
That was like,
You slipped into Alex Shakur last night, man.
yeah. I went backwards in my evolution. You know what I'm saying? I went backwards a little bit and got personal. A lot of it had to do with the amount of anxiety I had built up leading up to the event. Like
Right.
I was just so anxious to like get into this thing that a lot of that anxiety had built up. And then when we were actually live, because of Brandon's time constraints, and he was hogging a lot of the clock. He was hogging a lot of the clock, and that really made me anxious. I don't know if that was part of his strategy or not. It worked. The changing of the time. Like this is all old school tricks when it comes to debate. Like CJ Pearson did this to me when we debated, right? So, they changed the time last minute, right? Oh, I got
Right.
something to do, and so we ended up having to push it up because he said it was only going to be a 30-minute conversation. I'm like, this conversation deserves more than 30 minutes, especially with the amount of people we had on the panel. It's like
Right.
you get intros through when it's like, all right, it's time to go. So we moved the time up, and this is not making excuses for my actions by no means, but when he moved the time up, I got anxious, and yeah, I just saying I started going at him. I made it personal.
Yeah, that time thing really had multiple effects because a lot of I was reading some of the comments and a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it was 5-on-1, 4-on-1, blah blah blah." Moving the time up caused Bryson not to be able to come in at the beginning. So it looked like we was all ganging up on Brandon, which that wasn't going to be the case because his insistence that we move the time up caused him to be out there by himself, whatever. I mean, that was on him. So it wasn't like we planned it to be that way. We planned it to be more balanced, what I'm saying, with Bryson in there. But he couldn't come in at the new time, what I'm saying.
And Antonio was there based upon Brandon's request because initially it was just supposed to be the moderator, Uncle Hotep, myself against Brandon and Bryson. But Brandon wanted somebody to be there from the conservative conference that we did the Friday before, last Friday.
Right.
So I was like, well, it makes sense to just grab the woman who organized it, which was Antonia Okafor.
Shout out to her.
Word, shout out to her. Very, very dope individual. Um, so yeah, so that's why she was included, which is why I said I kind of put her in that thing like special guest because I knew what I was coming to do, and I didn't want her
Right.
to be in the middle of that,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
So a lot of people have came to me and they said, "Yo, you was able to get under his skin, da 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 da, this, that, and the third, and you executed perfectly." And although that may be true, that's not the strategy I should have went with. You know what I'm saying? I could have, I went low when I could have went high.
Right.
Especially when you're dealing with people that you feel are going low, you kind of got to go high sometimes. But, I went low, and, me and Sonny spoke. I'm really thankful for the conversation me and Sonny had this morning. It really helped me because I was real uneasy after the debate last night, obviously, because of the threats that was made towards me.
Right.
I'm thinking about like, where do I go from here? Like, as far as the threats are concerned,
Right. Right. Right.
am I taking legal action on this guy? You know? So I'm thinking about all that stuff. But the thing that really held my mind most was being responsible for my actions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, like I think it could have came out better. You know what I mean? It turned into a shouting match. And I think a lot of that, which again, I think was part of his strategy, was to talk over you. He kept talking over everybody and cutting you off. And I think that added to my anxiety, which made me like, why are you being like this? Like, why are you being this individual who, like, we came here to have a conversation about this thing, and you immediately like didn't respect everybody's boundaries. You know what I mean? He didn't respect the moderator. When the moderator was trying to speak and correct him on some of the facts, and he kept like cutting off the moderator. So when I saw, shout out to Lawrence, I really love him. I really appreciate him. He's a really dope individual too. If y'all not following Lawrence, make sure y'all follow him. Um, and I apologize to him too. Um, for allowing things to get out of hand like that. But with him cutting off and everything, it was just like we could have used that against him as
Right.
opposed to doing it too. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because I started doing it too. Like, oh, you want to cut people off, or I cut you off too. You know what I mean? When it
Right.
should have been more strategic.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out Lawrence. He was well prepared with with a lot of stuff, more than I was. You know what I'm saying? I read some of the stuff, but he had all the shit ready. Um, I was kind of disappointed with Brandon and Bryson. They was trying to assume that we was following what the mainstream rhetoric was about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like that. No, you're not talking to these individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like and then I asked him a question. He was like, "Oh, here come Uncle Hotep. You gonna call me Uncle Tom, nigger, and all this, that, and the third." I was like, "Nah, I didn't come there to call him names. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to I wanted to get him on his nail him down on his positions. And even then, I really, when I made a video. I called him bitch ass N word. You know what I'm saying? But that was because him insulting Bothan Jean's dad and stuff like that, saying his dad wasn't there. You know, but my point, like it seemed like he was him and Bryson. They stuck on this whole whatever the law is, that's what it was. And I'm like, come on, man. Like when I asked the guy, a former police officer, like if you were actually a current police officer in Georgia, what would you have rather them two white dudes do? And he's just gonna say, I'd rather them follow the law, and that's bullshit. We all know that's bullshit. And you ask any cop today, what would you rather those two individuals done? They would say, call 911 and wait for us to get there. Not to get in their truck, not to go chase somebody down and this, that, and the third. And we saw what happened. No current cop is going to say, yeah, go ahead and do a citizen's arrest. Because what if everybody started doing citizen's arrest? There'd be no need for police officers, would they? You know what I'm saying? Just for them to protect their own job interests. They wouldn't advise citizens to go out and start making citizens arrests. Like, come on. Like, citizens arrests should be like happen one in a million. Like, that should be like a rare occurrence, like getting struck by lightning. That's how uh I mean, how that's how many times a citizen's arrest should really happen. You know what I'm saying? But they're acting like that should happen every fucking day. Like, come on, man. That's where I'm like, man, this is. I couldn't believe what them jokers were saying, man. It was just out of character. You know what I'm saying? And you know he had all this bail for them guys, but when it comes to black people, he won't give that same leeway. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think Black America was asking for, give us that same leeway. I
Mm,
mean, but on their side, they want to go, oh, that's what does the law say? It's like, what the fuck does common sense say, man? Like
mm,
that's what we're getting at, and a lot of people. I seen some of the comments and stuff like that. You guys are going by law and stuff like that. Well, that can't even be determined till a trial is going, right. You know what I'm saying? Then the damage is already done. This guy's already 6 feet in the grave.
yeah.
So what if they find out? Oh man, well listen, you messed up right here. That you didn't follow the law about letter of the law right here. You go to jail, but like the guy's dead, man. He can't come back from that. I don't know, man. Like
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was
like you said, some of the stuff they brought into argument about like the jogging and stuff. I'm like, yo, we're not talking about that no more. You know what I
right.
mean?
Nobody was talking about that. Was their big thing. No jogging. Like none of us brought that up.
Right.
I had my own like misgivings about jogging. I was like, he was in
Mm.
cargo. I'm like, I'm not jogging in no cargo shorts, man. The chafing between your balls is going to be outrageous. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know about that. Maybe he was. I mean, I seen, you know, I used to be a CO in a jail. I seen people work out in anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe. But I was like, but that wasn't my main thing. I was like, I'm not. I was never doing the hashtag jogging with Ahmad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was never doing that.
Yeah.
But that was their big thing because they can see 80-90% of the population on Twitter. I mean, led by LeBron and all that. They was tweeting about that, so they thought they could bring that to the debate. Like, we're different characters, man. Y'all got it. Like, I don't think they understood that.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing was when I wanted them to defend Arbery, I said, we've all claimed that we have no dog in this fight. We're calling it objectively. You've sat here and you've defended the McMichaels. So I said, well, go ahead and defend, Arbery. And he couldn't do that, neither him nor Bryson. And maybe because they wanted to win a debate, you know, I I knew they was gonna come with the energy, which is probably why I came with my energy. But really, what that conversation should have been about was finding commonality, right? Let's find a middle ground between both of our arguments, and that's why I offered that. I said, well, we've defended the McMichaels. Okay, now defend him, and they couldn't do that, and that just like really didn't sit well with me at all, yo. That because that's very contradictory to say I have no dog in this fight, but I can only defend one side. You know what I mean? Like, is the other side that guilty? You couldn't find a single defense for him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That
Yeah,
kind.
and like if you're a good debater, you got to be able to take both sides of the argument. You're supposed to flip. You're supposed to do both sides. You're going to defend your point, but if you're good, you got to put yourself on the opposite side, and then you debate that same point. That's where you can know if you got holes in your argument or anything like that. You know what I mean? But they couldn't do that. And Brandon got nerve because you called him out like you know he plays to a white conservative fan base. Like he acts like he isn't. You know what I'm saying? He acts like he's this self-made man or whatever. Like, come on, we know who your fan base is. I'm not trying to discredit that. That's fine. That's fine. But don't act like that's not who he's playing to.
Yeah,
And that's why he won't take even if he was smart, or maybe he is, I don't know. But it seemed like he didn't want to take that side. At least Bryson gave a little bullshit answer, but Brandon didn't even want to take that side. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because he don't if he did, his fan base would call him out.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I seen one time. Remember when Brandon defended I think he called out Zimmerman, called Zimmerman disgusting or something like that, and we was
Right.
all shocked, like word, like oh shit, like
Right.
you know what I mean? But his base attacked him. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I was unable to make my point about that, but we have to be real that audiences have a bias.
Right.
And I think that's why people enjoy our show, because our show doesn't come with much bias. And when our show brings bias, it brings honesty along with it. It brings transparency along with it. Like,
Yeah.
like if I say I'll admit I'm biased, right?
Yeah.
Where some people will be biased and won't be able to admit their bigotry and hypocrisy. Whereas I'll say I'm a walking hypocrite. I contradict myself all the time. But I think that's what we need, that transparency, if we gonna act like that. And even I said, yo, like, how are you taking this grifting thing to heart? When I sat here and said I'm King Grifter,
Right.
I grifted the left and the right off of a Starbucks video, and I
Right.
turned that into like, you know what I mean? I turned that into something big, like something that would just happen to be in the media after I called it the week before. Like, I literally called the Starbucks shit. I said, yo, if you play to a certain narrative, they'll get you on the news. They'll give you the media looks,
Right.
right? So it wasn't like I created this thing last night, about the grifting thing. I've been demonstrating it. I've been teaching people about it. I've been making people privy of this practice since the Starbucks stunt. Because before the Starbucks stunt, I was very much of pointing it out. Like, look, there go one. There go grift. This is the grift. That's the grift. And I was like, nigga, I'm about to be a grift. I'm about to get the grift. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So that's when I did that Starbucks, to kind of show people, you know, what you can do out here, and play towards people's bias, and how quick the media is quick to come to grab you, right? And how everybody's quick to come to your side and take sides, or people will attack you. So when he said the grifting thing last night, it was just like, even Anomaly. I said, Anomaly, I interviewed Anomaly a couple of weeks ago. I said, Anomaly, you a grifter? He was like, nah, I'm not a grifter. And I let him, finish his thing, and we kind of found a middle ground on it. But I told him too, I was like, bro, we all grifting out here. Like, there's
Right.
a certain amount, like, especially when we talk about COVID-19 and how it quarantined people to their homes. And you look in the shift in industries. And I do my virtual summit every Saturday, briansharp.co/summit. And I publish the statistics on the changes in industry on a Saturday to show how media spikes. So as an entrepreneur, it behooves you to push out more media. More media equals more dollars.
Yeah.
So when a story hits the internet, and before the facts are out, you rush to go make a statement, I call it grifting. Now, remember last night, Lawrence said he looked up the tweets and he said he found a lot of what Bryson and Brandon had to say about this case, but he said he couldn't find anything about what the Hotep said,
Right.
because that's how we move. Like, we not trying to grift off of every topic. If we go and grift off a topic, it's some shit that touched me to the heart. Like, touch me to the heart, let me get paid at the same time. But I don't like to be the one to just rush to YouTube and make a video about this. And I
Yeah.
get that game, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that game. And it's grifting season. If you're an entrepreneur or YouTuber, if you're not doing that, you're not trying, right? Like, we have to be
Yeah.
honest about that. If
That's
you're
exactly right.
if you're a YouTuber, you have to be publishing videos a lot and quick. Like, I used to have a blog. We did, a million visitors, you know, monthly. So, like, looking at that, I know what it takes to become successful as a blogger, and YouTube is a form of blogging. It's vlogging almost. So we know this is a job. Again, when I was talking to Anomaly, I said the reason why I respect his grift is because he puts a lot of work into his shit, like his editing and his research. Like, he broke the story on Fauci, Dr. Fauci, that got broke by Newsweek, when it
Mhm.
showed that Dr. Fauci had money in the Wuhan Virology Institute.
Okay. Yeah.
So Anomaly broke that story. So we got to understand, we are out here getting coins. These super chats that pour in here, are real. That's real money. You know what I mean? And we have, and I think it's very dishonest to not take a look at that and tell people what we are doing. You know,
Yeah, because like when I was more active doing YouTube, now I only do my Uncle Hotep Factor on Sundays and maybe one other time during the week. But like you're right, if a story breaks, you got to be on it. You gotta as soon as that breaks, you gotta have a video up. Because then if you're not, and that's why when he looked up all the tweets, he didn't find really too much on it. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't really talking about that. I know I wasn't because I hate because I knew that knew there was more to the story, more background to the story. That's why I didn't really jump on it like when LeBron and all them went haywire on the shit. I was just like, oh, let me fall back. You know what I mean? Because it's when the big players in media and sports get into it, just Sean Kings and shit like that. There's some funny money about that shit. You know what I'm
right?
saying? More than that. But were you surprised that he spurged out like that? And I'm kind of like shocked that he lost his bearing like that. At the end. And I'm kind of concerned, because this guy was a police officer. He was out there on the streets. Like he kept saying, you know, um, he was saving black lives. And another thing, I don't want to forget this because he mentioned his views. I don't know how many times. I was getting tired. I wanted to call him on that. I'm like, man, nobody care about your goddamn video views, bro. But I was like,
He
I,
said, I got a
I thought,
million views.
I thought he was trying to say something with that shit. But anyway, I find it almost disturbing that he would take it. He want to take it like take it to the streets like that. I find it like if you were supposed to be a police officer and you probably and while you were a police, you probably were in more stressful situations than that debate last night. So when you get in a stressful situation, and that's how you respond. So how did you respond in the streets? That's why I'm kind of like, somebody needs to look up his police record, man, because there must be something funny in there if that's how he's going to respond to another black man just over a conversation.
I said it in the beginning of the stream. I was afraid for my life. I said it right in the beginning of the stream. I said, Brandon, you still an officer? Because I'm afraid for my life. And then he ends the stream threatening me. So was I shocked? Yes and no. Yes and no. Like, I'm not shocked because that's not the first time he's done that. He's threatened me on camera several times, um, and talked about me like that. So I'm not shocked in that sense. I'm shocked he did it last night. Like, there's a lot of people on that, a lot of eyes on that video. A lot of people was talking about that. JLP, Terrence Williams, a lot of people was promoting that bout last night, and I was trying to do my Don King thing and be Mike Tyson at the same time, which is very difficult. But I'm gonna get the next debate right. I'm salivating for my next debate, and I think we should do that debate again. I think we need to run that back, and do it right for the people. Not even for us, for for conservatism,
Right.
for both of us, for both of our fans, for both of our supporters, for his supporters that he disappointed, and for my supporters that were disappointed, for the people that didn't get the enrichment of what the discussion could have been. I think we need to run it back and show people that black men. I just hate being that stereotype of black men can't sit down and talk without yelling at each other and then getting violent. And I think to end this off on that note will be a huge blemish on black men. I mean, just think about how conservatives already think about us. You know what I'm saying? Think about, like, the Groypers was loving that. The Groypers probably talk about that right now. You know what I mean? Um, so like to fall into that stereotype, I found to be like just distasteful. But I think we need to run it back, man, and show people that black men can have a conversation. We can be civil without killing each other. You know?
Yeah. I do want to say, Antonio, she's very knowledgeable. about the Second Amendment and stuff like that. She made some very valid points. Had me thinking about some of the stuff she was saying. I was like, yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? She probably needed a bigger voice last night. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were saying, "Why was I even on the debate?" You know what I mean? Because I only got to ask a couple questions. I just didn't want to, when it started to go left, I didn't want to add to it. I didn't want to add in because you have to butt in. Like when you're in those debates, you gotta, me and you have a chemistry, so I know when to cut in. You know what I'm saying? But when all these other people were talking, I didn't want to just be like, ah, ho, 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 you know what I'm saying? So when a lot of that was already going on, so I was like, I'll just play the field, I'll play it back. There's plenty of people talking, there's no need for me to just try to butt in. And because there was plenty of conversation going, so it wasn't like I didn't want to be there or anything like that, or I didn't have anything to say. I just thought for the benefit of the event, let me play it back and let me just try to get in when I could. That's how I try to play it. Um,
Yeah, I did feel like we was jumping them. In hindsight, not in the moment. In the moment, I didn't even
right,
see you. I didn't see you. I didn't see Antonia. I didn't see the host. I just had red eyes for Brandon, because of the way the bait started moving, with the cutting off and all of that, and the dishonesty and the lack of compassion for humanity. Like the lack of compassion for humanity, I think is what sits doesn't sit well with me, right? But anyway, yeah, I think Antonia did well. I think she did very well. Um, I could have fell back a lot more. I could have fell back a lot actually. I could have fell back a whole lot. Like in hindsight, I probably would have said 25% of what I said last night.
right,
And well, I should say not what I said. I should say 20. I would taken up 25% of the time that I took up last night. I would have used about 25% of that time last night, and would have been 1,000% more effective. Right? If I was strategic me, I wasn't really strategic me. I was like I was troll me, right? Like, nah, y'all about to get this troll work. When that venue with the type of eyes was on it didn't deserve that. I think the people deserve better. They deserved a better version of me. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah. Yeah, it was hectic. Bryson tried to, I like Bryson. I can't lie, right? And you know, it's like it's one of those love hate situations where it's like you hate you hate the way you hate the way a nigga moving, but his personality is you can't deny that it's funny, right? And entertaining, right? You
yeah,
can't deny that, which is why I loved including him in that debate because I'm like, all right, he gonna be like our comic relief, he gonna bring something to the debate nobody else can bring to the debate. He's gonna bring that. He's also really young too, so he's gonna bring that little more immature type thing to the debate. So I knew what to expect for Bryson, so I really didn't prepare for Bryson because you don't have to. You know what I mean? Um, but he's a fun guy. I don't agree with a lot of what he does, but I think free will overrides my decision for what somebody else. And I would never tell him, to change what he's doing. I think he need to ride that MAGA wave and get them grifting MP3, you know what I mean, Apple iTunes dollars.
right, 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 right,
I think it's genius that he took a demographic that said they hate rap,
right,
hate rappers, hate hip
right.
hop, will not listen to it, and then he had them niggas rapping. He had malls out here rapping, right?
Yeah, I remember that. He had a
So
whole challenge.
right, whole challenge. So I looked at that like he was exposed to of people. Like y'all just said y'all ain't like hip hop. Now y'all rocking this. Now y'all rocking this rap, like y'all, thousands of retweets. So it goes to show you, it's like, oh, it's hip hop is very much about a message. What's the message that the artist is putting out there that people can cling to, the audience can cling to, but his debate, like you said, when he kept going back to what the media was saying, it's like, yo, we ain't talking about what the media is saying. Like, how many times ago I go over this? We ain't talking about jocking. We got to remember the Hotep take. We did a take on this on the show, and like I said, I got a secret email subscribed to Sean King, so I
Right.
seen the Arbery shit before anybody, and I knew it was coming. So when I seen it on the timeline, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I think I did see this somewhere before. Then it connected when I seen Sean King. I'm like, oh, that's the one in the Sean King email.
Right.
But we saw all of this with the Black Lives Matter leading up to the election. So we saw the pattern that the media comes and was like, oh, so y'all shifting from the COVID to the dead black bodies for election season. It's definitely grifting season now. So, which is why we didn't say much, because it's like we not gonna push the narrative that the media wants, right?
Right.
We're not gonna add to that conversation. We gonna, you know what I mean? Try to make y'all hip. Cause I remember when you tweeted out, you was like, oh, we on this type time again. And people took it as you was being insensitive towards the death.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was saying.
Yeah,
I was
you were
saying the
saying
media is
like,
going to exploit this stuff so to get everybody's emotions round up, and that's exactly what happened.
and several more bodies came out after that. We had the girl, right?
Yeah.
Like they're rolling them out now. So we're in that phase of news media fear mongering. It's the kill black man phase. So we've always been hip to that. So I was just like, why y'all keep throwing this out there? It's like, I guess y'all was just sticking to y'all talking points. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I don't know if you know. There's Dr. Umar had when he was on the Breakfast Club. He said how he can trust the difference between a coon and a nigga. And it almost reminds me of them two. You know why he can trust one and not the other. I think Brandon. He knows what he's doing. But Bryson. He's just being himself. I'm not sure Brandon is being himself. I think he's getting on that grifting bag. Um,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. But let's be honest.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, he's not being honest. Let's go with the super chats.
Or you want me to read them off? There's a bunch of them. You might have missed some. Or you
Yeah,
got
go
it.
ahead if you want. Go ahead.
Chad Lemoy 999. Thank you, Chad. As always, he says, let's get this out of the way off the rip. There will be no black on black crime in tonight's episode. Oh yeah, you read that one, my bad. Avarice, I love y'all. You put in that work yesterday. Thank you. I didn't though. Trisha, here is some fake cash from a fake follower, as Officer Friendly would say. Thank you, Trish. I apologize to Trish too this morning, and that's another person I'm just really thankful for. She has some really warm words back to me, but she's somebody who supports. She's a moderator here. She's been supporting for a really long time, so I just apologize to her for my actions last night for misrepresenting. Hotep Lord Lamik Shabazz. Woo, what kind of name is that? That's Hotep to the core. He said, Uncle Hotep is most legendary laugh of all time, highlight of last night. Yeah, I think we need to just go ahead and take Uncle Hotep, put it into like sound bites and sell that shit, like put royalties on it. So if you need a laugh for your shit, you could buy his. Hotep with it, he said, Hotep's and herb already. Happy Thursday, family. Blessings and high favor to all. After a day of putting down mulch. This take is necessary. Stay with it. Bless. My man working out here hard. Avarice, thank you again. When y'all gonna send me one of them fresh hats? Fly as hell. Hotep Nation, stay up. Word up. Make sure y'all get one. The link is in the box. Javon Smiley, thank you. He said you had a Naker moment. Francis Lanza, you guys need to have a rematch on the Ralph Retort kill stream. No comment. DTW Twin. Can't watch now. Halfway through the AA episode. Ali, Fire, Unk, the MVP. Cheat codes around the room was dope. I'm sure that will be great content in Q. Thank you, Jake Richmond. Your reflection, a reflection is great to hear. All love, Hotep. Quincy, thank you. Black Mount Hotep. Hotep, respect to Unc for his debate composure. HJ, respect you for acknowledging your fault in the situation. Brandon didn't compose himself like a man or even morally fair. Thank you, Trey. Steph, Unc was in the box last night. Like, I'm just here for the memes. Jake Richmond and my Trump bucks just hits. Unc, so here.
He got his Trump bucks.
Chad Lemoyne, Tatum didn't want tape of him defending Arbery. That's a good point. Brandon Thugger, Joe Beauty, thank you. She says Brandon Thugger and Lil Bryson X. Lil Bryson X, wow. Were overly biased against Ahmad. They gave clear point of view A and B, his presumed guilt, and to McMichael's innocence. Thank you. Avarice, thank you. Says, when y'all get time, watch Tree of Logic stream on your discussion. Yeah, I heard she did a stream. I haven't watched it. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I don't think I will watch it because I don't want to replay back last night. But May 18th reopening, thank you, says Tree of Logic live stream was off the blockchain when reviewing your debate from last night. Incredible. Toll was killing Brandon. TOL was killing Brandon. I don't know what TOL is.
Tree of
Oh,
Logic.
Tree of Logic. Okay. Yeah, she be going in on Brandon. Guitars and crowbars. Tatum ain't gonna hurt you, bro. He just wants you to know he could. Thank you. Chad, he said, you know how when your kids come home from school and melt down because they've been holding it together all day and they unleash on family? That was Officer Tatum. All that pressure built up and relieved on the stream at the end. Aztec Mecca, what's up, homie? He said, peace and love to the Hoteps. That debate was madness, and it's all part of the process towards perfection. Thank you, Aztec Mecca. I know you became a supporter on Patreon this week, so we appreciate you. Peter All Night, he said, would have helped to have a moderator who wasn't part of the argument. Lawrence is a good dude, but he started out being part of the debate. Yeah, I saw people having that type of reaction towards him. I think he was more so just trying to correct people on what they were saying.
Right.
You know, where sometimes a party would say something. Even I said something. I said TPUSA was a political organization, right?
Yeah, he
And
correct.
they corrected me and said, no, it's a 501, whatever, whatever, right? And that was Lawrence who corrected me. So I think he was more or less trying to make sure the audience had everything that was said framed up with accuracy. You know,
Yeah.
um, but for I for my actions last night, I decided to do something to repent for my sins, to repent for my horrible behavior, to repent for my poor decision making. I'm going to start unblocking people that I've blocked on Twitter in the past. We're gonna forgive people for their mistakes because I realized that people make mistakes as I made last night. So to repent and to heal my soul, I'm gonna unblock people that I have blocked. So if I got you blocked, there's a possibility you could be unblocked. That doesn't count some of like those troll like doggy accounts and shit like that with one follower, like you know what I mean. But some of the people that I see are legit people that had gripes about things I said. I'll be unblocking. So yeah, that's that.
Okay, moving right along. 6ix9ine, man, released the John. This John, he gonna be the number one song in the country.
Is it already on pace to do that?
Yeah, man.
Wow. Wow.
You
I
know,
mean, well, that's true because if we're counting streams now, yeah. So let me go look at the YouTube. Yo, whoa. He's got 148 million views, 5.2 million likes. Speaking of likes, make sure I hit the like button. Make sure I hit the like button on this video. Wow. What do you think about all this, y'all?
you know, now Meek Mill has come out and he's made some. Oh, I gotta crush him for the culture and things of that nature.
He said that? Where
Um,
he said that at? On Twitter
uh,
or Instagram or video or what?
I think it was on Twitter.
Okay.
Um, now, because a rat, whatever. And like I'm like, and that just gives 6ix9ine more fuel because he's a troll. You say something about him, he's just gonna he'll feeds off that. You know what I'm saying? And that just would happen. 6ix9ine, he started talking shit. And it's like, how you letting a rat stream more than you? Stream more than you, and things of that nature. Um, I don't know. I'm not in that rap world. If I was, I would feel different about it. Or in the streets, I'd feel different about it. Um, I listened to the song, and I've liked some of his music, but I didn't really like that song. Um, but he's, I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to be stopping him anytime soon. If that, like, if he keeps on with his, unless he breaks out of his what works for him, you know what I'm saying? I think releasing singles and stuff like that is working for him because he's going to get the YouTube streams and shit like that. This is a different generation. I think what we're seeing is like some of the, not really old, but the middle 30 guys, like Meek and all them, they're trying to like from what their old heads taught them, they're trying to teach, trying to enforce it on a generation they didn't teach themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they should have passed off this knowledge earlier, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't happen. There was a disconnect between these from like the 30 something to the younger 20s. There's a disconnect there. It just isn't there. They're not following the same rules. I don't really think that a lot of these kids care about it. You know what I'm saying? The kids the people in the adults in the 30s, you know what I mean, has been in the streets for a minute, they're like, nah, fuck that. But the kids that's the 20s and some undercrowd, they don't give a damn if he snitched or not, man.
Yeah.
And I seen a lot of bloggers and Biscuit, and they was trying to they was going at 6ix9ine, but you're doing nothing but feeding the fuel. You're feeding the monster. The more you talk about 6ix9ine, the hotter he's going to get because that's what he feeds off, man. Like
Yeah.
if y'all want 6ix9ine to go away, stop talking about him. He stopped talking about it, he'll be irrelevant. But I looked at his Instagram. His Instagram get 5 million likes and whatever he do. I seen one fashion designer dyeing his hair white. Shit, he getting all types of likes, man. People are gonna start fucking with 6ix9ine just for the clout, man. It's wild out here, man.
Yeah. I'm very objective about this because it's just so silly, right? It's like it's a joke that people even take him serious enough to criticize him. You know what I mean? Like I don't even take him that serious to as somebody who warrants brain power to criticize him.
Right.
He's terrible for the culture. Um,
Yeah.
his music is not hot.
Right.
It's hot based upon, like you said, that 20-year-old demographic, but the substance ain't there. The gooba was just him just talking shit. The beat fire, of course, and the flow and everything. Like, of course, he know how to make a hit, which is amazing. But I also think he's got a higher IQ than a lot of people. He got a higher IQ than a lot of rappers.
Yeah, definitely. He's outsmarted than Meek, man.
He's at
Meek's
least a 110 IQ. 100. He's definitely over that 100 mark. And I think a lot of rappers just aren't smart. But I think he's one of those people that you know. I think first of all, we have to analyze how he released the song, which let me know, oh, this nigga's smart, right? Um, he did it on Instagram Live. Now you go to Instagram Live, what do you see? You got a bunch of women shaking their ass. That's how the video comes on. And then he slides in the frame dancing, right? Before he starts talking about the case and coming home and the snitching, before he even addresses that, he understands that he has to give people time. He even scheduled it. Remember, he scheduled it. He's like, yo, I'm going live at this time. So he was smart enough to schedule it. People were setting their calendars for this shit. Um, but he was smart enough to get the viewers in there before he even released the news. And so by the time he spoke on it, and then his take was like, "Yeah, I'm a snitch. What y'all gonna do about it?" And his reasoning for being the snitch is like, can you really argue with it?
No.
Like he said, like, you know, am I supposed to be loyal to people that screw my baby moms and tried to kill me? I'm like, why this nigga making sense? Like why is 6ix9ine making sense right now? And I was kind of conflicted, so I was like, I ain't even gonna think about this dude no more.
Yeah, well, you
Cause I don't.
surprised at how big Instagram is on the music scene now. That Badu and Jill Scott. Some they released numbers today after their battle, and I think they had like 700,000 impressions or streaming at one time, and I think it went over 1 billion impressions. They released today. Their streaming numbers tripled after their battle. You know, so
Oh,
so it's beneficial for now the people to get on Instagram. Just like they're doing it a different way than what 6ix9ine did. 6ix9ine, he released this joint, but all the battles and shit like that people were doing, it's beneficial to them to go out and do it. You know what I'm saying? To get your face out there. I mean, it's common sense. I don't know why it took this long for people to figure that out, but it's common sense for people to do that. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to trip your streams afterwards, man. Imagine if you had an album to drop after a battle or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It would really go through the roof. Somebody's going to do that one of these times. But it's worth it, But it seems like Instagram is very big in music now.
yeah. I mean, it's a low IQ app, so you're gonna get the masses there, right? The masses are majority low IQ, so you'll get the low IQ people there, and they flock to there. I don't even think Twitter can compete, like, as far as total number of users is concerned. I don't think they're like even close to what Instagram does with total number of users. Twitter has a special type of mind that occupies Twitter. But Instagram, Facebook, the hood is all on Facebook and Instagram. They call it the gram. You been in the hood like, oh, you doing it for the gram. Like, it's Instagram's very much a part of the culture more than Twitter.
Yeah.
The gram is part of the culture. Even Facebook, we call it the book. So I hate it's like that, but I love that it's people like Badu and Jill Scott, like, hearing that their numbers triple, because you got to remember, a lot of these people depend on touring for to keep their same generating the same revenue on a monthly
Right.
basis. And with the lockdown and the quarantine, artists can't tour.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that people are doing this and it's sustaining lives and feeding kids, because Badu's got kids. I don't think Jill Scott has kids, but yeah, I have my incense and my Egyptian musk oil, and I was watching it, and I said, even my shorty was like, "Are you watching the battle?" I'm like, yeah, because I haven't watched any of them. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But, like, I'm not gonna miss this Hotep shit.
Yeah, I
So
tuned in for a little bit. Badu, she had me killing with that, that light, with the Bruce Lee in the back. That shit was fire, man. But you know, they were very cordial with each other. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I love Jill Scott. she's all right.
yeah.
But I'm glad it happened for him. I hope we have more. Hope we have more music battles and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big facts.
Randall Andrews, wish you could have got the point across that Brandon's brand is keeping the status quo and his lack of results illustrate that. Justin Stone, HJ, Hotep Jesus pardoning Twitter accounts. Averis, Crystolix, y'all think y'all grifters. I'm gonna let y'all finish, but 6ix9ine, the best grifter of all time.
Oh, I can't even deny that.
DW Twin, thanks for donation. Thoughts on Medici on Netflix? What is Medici?
Medici.
Medici,
Medici's
Medici.
on Netflix. Oh wait, I want to say, hasn't that been on Netflix? This isn't new, I don't think. I don't think that's new, but yeah, I want to check that out. The Medici family out of Italy. I think that's going back 18th century, maybe.
Okay. No, I haven't watched it.
I love old history flicks. I'm gonna check that out, yo.
Okay. Travell Keith, 6ix9ine has done all the attention is because of his release. He's already had to change his residence 2 times. Y'all giving him more credit than he's due. I mean, wait till he drop. I bet you he drop again. He's doing the same numbers, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. He was like that before he went in. I
Yeah,
don't understand. That short 2 minute, under 3 minute song with with a fire beat, this shit talking is what's in now. You know what I'm saying? Like no hook, no like that shit is fire, man. To that generation, I think as long as he can got good production and keeps that same mo, I think he'll last another year or so at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Martin McNamara, 6ix9ine did have a point about both sides of loyalty. Thanks for donation. Reaction PR. What up, man? 6ix9ine has created the snitching grifter genre.
You see Tyler Bennett?
Did I say Tyler Bennett? Yeah.
Salute.
Oh no. Salute to Hoteps. Peace from the Gateway Wellness. Thanks, Tyler Bennett. Hey, y'all snuck that in there. Um, Speaking of Netflix, you seen the trailer for Epstein documentary, man?
Yeah. What you think? What you think?
Like whenever they do mainstream stuff like this, I think it's to cover up the holes, you know what I mean, or to push a certain narrative,
Yeah.
especially so soon. Like he only died, allegedly died. What was it, last year? And they already got a documentary out. Where was this documentary when he got arrested in Florida? All that stuff happened way back years ago. When he got put on probation for basically child sex trafficking. You know, when the guy that was in Trump's administration, he was down in Florida, he wanted to prosecute him. They tapped him on the shoulder like he's intelligence. That's what he said. Now, when they pressed him on it, he just like, oh, no, he didn't give a non-answer. They didn't say what intelligence or whatever. And I'm not even going to get into what intelligence he was working for, but he obviously was doing it for somebody. So Netflix to come out here with this documentary after he's already allegedly dead, when they could have did this when he was alive, is BS, man. I people got to see through this, man. It's just like this is propaganda. Netflix is full of propaganda. I mean, it's not the only streaming service. It's that they do it all in everything. Hollywood. Any streaming, the normal alphabets, ABC, NBC, whatever. It's all like that. You know what I'm saying? So when them pushing out a documentary like this, I can't. I don't know if I'll watch it. I find better. I find better content on Epstein. Ryan Dawson, Scott Creighton on YouTube. They've had more than enough information on somebody like Scott. I think he's a Church Dog 48, 42 on YouTube. He did stuff on him way back in the day. That's when he was in Florida on his website. He did that years ago.
Mm.
All of that stuff. So if you want to be misinformed, go ahead and watch that Netflix show.
Yeah. I mean, my take on it is exactly what Chad said in the chat. He said when Netflix makes an expose documentary, it's kind of like Dollar General making champagne. Like I think the fact that I always feel like everybody who man, I shouldn't even say this next point, but fuck it. Um, so everybody say he killed himself, or somebody say he got murdered, and I'm like, why ain't nobody entertaining the fact that this nigga might still be alive?
Right. That's the first thing they push. Like even guys like Cernovich and like in Prozac, allege, they go with the, killed himself or anything like that. They don't ever go with, he could still be alive. They always push out he's dead first. I start to notice. I want everybody in the chat to notice that. The people on Twitter, the media sources, you know what I'm
The blue
saying,
checks.
the blue checks. Look at how they talk about Epstein. They always mention he's dead because they're trying to put that out there to ensure in your mind that he's dead. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not going for it, man. I don't know. I think something funny happened when in New York that time.
I mean, we don't got no camera footage. They say it was a malfunction.
Yeah.
I ain't saying nothing else because that shit is way above my pay grade. I wouldn't even. I ain't even. I'm not even. I wouldn't even investigate that nigga. I wouldn't even. You got to be a really brave soul to try and investigate if he's really alive. I leave that rabbit hole alone.
Yeah.
Mm. Which is why
Uh,
I think investigative journalists are very brave people for that.
yeah. They get sued and all types of stuff, man. Yeah. Quincy V, look up the Epstein Bill Gates connection. Yeah, because Epstein was everywhere. I think he had an office in Harvard. It was something crazy. Like he was at Harvard so many times. It was just like, or MIT. He was there like all the time. He was with. Uh, I'm not going to say what he was doing, but he was recruiting. Smart people to do work for certain people. That's what he was doing. Mike Lowry. How
Somebody
much y'all?
somebody in the chat made a good point. They said the meme, this is Baj Mahal, he said the meme, he didn't kill himself, was pushed and forced, so they didn't think he was alive. Yeah, think about that. Like how hard that was pushed, and there was not a lot of pushback on that. Like, remember, both sides agreed. Like it
Yeah.
was bipartisan. Yeah,
That's that dope fiend. See, that's that dope fiend. See, if you was in the streets, you will understand. That's that dope fiend shit. That's what the dope fiends will try to pull off on you. If you're not paying attention, they'll get over on you. That's how the redacted Illuminati, the lizard men. That's how they operate, man. That's a dope fiend tactic, man, and they got it over. They pushed it so much that everybody, they at least assumes he's dead, but they'll argue about how he was dead.
right.
Meanwhile, he's up there drinking coffee, reading his paper every goddamn morning.
Yeah, on the island chilling.
Yeah. Mike Lowry, how much y'all think they try to play up Trump's and Epstein's relationship in the documentary?
Whew. Oh, good point.
Yeah, I seen in the trailer they had a picture of them together, but he was, Epstein was with everybody. I don't know what they like. They can't really push it too much because Epstein had his fingers in everybody's cookie jar. Pause if applicable. Uh, Kristen Mana, thanks for a donation. Um, Mark Cuban, man.
I need Kristen to I need Kristen to tell us how to pronounce her last name because I really want to pronounce it like Nicki Minaj, but I don't know. Can you like put a phonetic pronunciation of your name in the chat so we know how to say it? Because you always support us and we appreciate you. Quincy W. He said we don't know if Tupac is dead. Um, Reaction PR. He said Netflix dropped Pandemic shortly after COVID hit US. Reaction PR. Stay on top of it.
um, Now back to the well, this is more the event news. Mark Cuban, he was paying. This guy is. I don't know what's up with Mark Cuban, but he was paying secret shoppers to go out in, I guess in Dallas to go into stores to find out who was still operating under the lockdown. Like what kind of this is the 6ix9ine era, man. See what 6ix9ine got people doing out here. Now he just out there being a stone cold informant.
Yeah. Yeah, snitching. Remember you said it went from grifting season to snitching season. That's wild, man. It got me thinking. I was talking to my homeboy last night, and he was telling me about his experience at work. He works at a place that construction workers frequent, right?
Right.
So obviously, that's MAGA country. Like, not to say all construction workers are MAGA, but a lot of
Hi.
construction workers are MAGA. or a lot of MAGA workers are construction workers. They're more, the right is definitely more hands on, right? They got more skills, and the left is more like cubicle type people.
Right.
Um, and he said that he had a couple of problems. Um, one dude was supposed to be behind the yellow line, and he was like, "Yo, can you step behind the yellow line?" And dude kind of gave him an attitude. Um, Threatened him, wanted to take him outside and fight, smacked his soda bottle off his counter. Then he said another dude came in there with a mask on, with the mask off, with no mask. And when you go in places today, you gotta wear a mask. Like, let's be honest. Like, like, I'm not with the agenda, but I'm not trying to break ranks either. And a lot of people are. I don't think that's the place to break rank, like Home Depot or the grocery store. I don't think that's the place to break rank, because that's a private business. Like, it's the public frequents it, but it's still a private place. It's not the public. The grocery store is not the public. It's still a private corporation. So I feel like if private corporations say, "Hey, you know, this is how we're operating," and you come in and you don't want to cooperate, it's kind of like, "Yo, who is you, nigga? Like, why don't you go protest downtown at your senator's office? Like, that's where you got to take that fight." Because yeah, he got real funny with him, and I'm seeing that happen a lot. With the MAGA crowd, Well, I shouldn't say that. When I say MAGA crowd, I mean the people on the rank and file people on the streets, not these Twitter cats.
Right.
Um, but the people are definitely rebelling. And I understand why. And we're going to talk about some of the other people as we get to the other topics. But yeah, it's wild out here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Mark might be trying to play politics. He might be trying to get position himself for a 2020 presidential run. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Um, um,
yeah, that's just foul of him, though, man.
yeah, that's this. He's really playing it up because he's trying to say, the NBA is trying to return. The players want to come back. They want to play, crown a champion. But he's come out and says, we can't rush, and he's being really really super cautious, like some of the governors and stuff like that. Like the Pennsylvania governor is like trying to be super super cautious, and people are getting restless. You know what I'm saying? But that's this issue. Like, where do we get? Like, I hate that we're snitching and want to turn in on our fellow citizens about this. You know what I'm saying? And people have bitten, oh, we're gonna get the COVID if you're not 6 feet. I seen a Karen, a Karen, a dude and his Karen were jogging on the trail, and she had a stick and had it to the left of her. So people would have to run around her, so to keep the 6 foot uh, thing. What I mean? He made a TikTok, of course it was on TikTok. Like, and one jogger was like, what the fuck? What I mean? She had to run around and shit. Like, she was like, 6 feet, 6 feet. I'm like, oh my God. Like, people are just so literal with this 6 foot shit, man. It's just like, just,
Yeah,
just, just keep your distance. Why arm's length is probably work just as well. But if the mass media tells you people anything, just like with Arbery and the jogger thing, if the mass media tells people anything, just like they told people 6 feet, they're going to take it literally. And that's why you got people walking around with sticks, and you got people with a whole bunch of contraptions and bubbles around, and people want to walk around in bubbles because they don't want people that close to them. Like, come
hmm
on, man. Let's be serious here. I'm all right with the mask. I'm used to it now. Like, I walk out the door, I gotta make sure that thing on me, what I mean, that mask on me, you know what I'm saying? But it's just because you can't go in the stores, you can't go in the stores without it. So I'm like, man, it's not worth, I've seen videos people cussing people out over. It's not worth fucking. It's not worth
Yeah,
the argument. I might as well just put it on here, do my business, and leave.
yeah. I don't think that's the right. It's not the right venue for that. Um, but I think one of the side effects is the severing of social connections. So I saw one of my followers tweet the other day. I went to go see my grandma, and I went to go give her a hug, and she flinched. and that kind of hit me. Like, yeah, I've had that happen with family members. You know what I mean? Like, oh wait, don't get too close. And it's just like, I respect it. You know what I mean? Because in Project Rook's interview, me and her are in alignment and believing that much of the illnesses we take on start in the mind first.
Okay.
When you got an ill mind, the body usually it usually manifests in the body. So a lot of diseases can be cured through the mind. So when you're dealing with people who are fearful of a COVID-19, let's say, that fear can manifest. So you interacting with that fear and pushing that, you could make them sick. You see what I'm saying? You could make them sick because their mind has been made up that this person has hugged me and now I potentially have COVID-19. The next day you wake up, you got a little cold symptom, and now things go south, you know? So I think people got to be careful, man.
Yeah, I've seen people like, oh, my mother hasn't seen her grandkids in the whole lockdown. I'm like, I send these kids over there their your grandmother's house as soon as I can. You know what I mean, whenever my mom like, oh, we ain't taking it that, but my mom, she she's an ex nurse, so she keeps everything, she lysols everything down, make sure washing hands, takes precautions, you know what I mean? But some people take the extra step like that. And like you said, that's that's destroying, the social interaction between families and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's no good there. Hold on, let me where we at on the super chats? Chad, Janan, what's her name? Maxwell, Gianna Maxwell. I forget her name.
Ghislaine?
Ghislaine Maxwell didn't kill herself. Isn't a meme. Yeah, she's still alive and kicking somewhere, man. I don't know where she's at.
Yeah, I try to get my account banned tonight.
Oh, man, come on, Chad. Brandon Gooser, you all know they hit with the finesse move. They're pushing parts of the Green New Deal through in front of our faces. Yeah,
Mm,
that's what a lot of people are saying. These new stimulus packages. They're slipping in some other stuff that's not too, that wouldn't be slipped in on otherwise or voted through otherwise. Daniel Hawk, Trump snitched on Epstein back in the old Florida case. Trump kicked Epstein out of his club when he tried grabbing the massage staff girls. Dan Hoke, like Coke with Dan Hoke. Daniel Hoke. All right, man. Thanks for letting us know how to pronounce your name. Did Kristen reply? Oh, I might have missed it. Mary O'Donnell. What's up, Mary? Used to see my local next door site in my town telling everybody what to do. Way too many Karens. Being nasty, telling them obey the law, stay home. Lots of fighting. We gotta talk about that. We're gonna get to the Karens in a minute because there has
yeah,
never been a better word that's been invented since that's one plus of 2020. Steve
yeah.
P. No proof of Epstein's death, no proof of Bin Laden's death, no motive in Vegas shooting. Just another day for the redacted. Stay strong. Got some woke people out here, man.
I don't know.
Anyway, it was Mother's Day last weekend, so shout out to all the mothers in the chat and around the world listening to this. Oh, if you listen to on Apple, please give us a review. Um, there was a Karen that went to Red Lobster. It was actually in York, Pennsylvania, man. I've been to York a few times. Um, it's a nice little town. It's the country, but it's nice out there. I used to work for a guy that was from York. But anyway, going to Red Lobster. You know what? In Karens in Pennsylvania, they love Red Lobster. I know Red Lobster catches a lot of flack around especially on Twitter. But Karens used to love Red Lobster, like the I guess the 30s and ups, middle 30s and up. Red Lobster was something. Them cheddar biscuits was something to them Karens. She was waiting in line. They had her waiting in line 3 hours, man, and she just went berserk, man. Went berserk. And just started fighting the people at the lady at the and the works at Red Lobster, Tiffany. light skinned Tiffany. She had a hair full of. She had a hair full, a handful of hair. Karen's hair. She was about to whoop her ass. I'm glad they calmed her down because she would have caught a charge. But Karen swung first, man. But the Karen will swing first when it comes to that Red Lobster biscuits, man. I'm telling you, Dad. I'm telling
Man.
you. I've been listen. You know me. I've been to Red Lobster plenty of
that nigga, you jump right out. Now you know I fuck with them cheddar biscuits, right?
I don't
Yo,
know. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Red Lobster in years. Jonah, with
I
she don't like seafood much, but yeah, I haven't been there in years though.
yeah, I used to work for Olive Garden, so uh, if I'm not mistaken, I think Red Lobster's part of the
Yeah.
Darden restaurant family. So if you had, it's funny when you hear people say, "Oh, you eat at Red Lobster," I'd be like, maybe. Why? Like, so I'd be like, "Do you eat Olive Garden?" Yeah, I love Olive Garden. I'm like, "Yo, you getting the same food?" Like, it's the same thing. Like, that's the same shit, you know. So I always thought that was funny. But yeah, I used to live around the corner from Red Lobster. I used to go by there. You know, I remember for a little while I was addicted. I used to just drop by. I'd be like, "Yo, I'm coming to pick up some biscuits." All right, let me get here. And I used to just come just for the biscuits. I wasn't really too keen on the fish and the seafood because I can't eat anybody's seafood.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially not Red Lobsters. I'm real picky about that. But them biscuits are fire. So I used to go by and be like, "Yo, let me get half a dozen or a dozen, blah blah blah." But by the time you bring them home to the fam and the gremlins get to them, yeah, they going. But I think they got some of the best biscuits out. So I understand why they was fighting. But yeah, this Karen moment is funny. I went to a restaurant. It was Mother's Day. So I told the lady, whatever you want, it's your day. Like we could do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And she was like, she said she wanted to relax at home. So I tricked her and I got her in the car, started driving. So we went to her favorite restaurant and ordered takeout because obviously we can't eat inside. But when we got there, it was like an hour wait. Keep in mind, this restaurant usually does not do takeout orders. This
Right.
restaurant is no takeout orders. Their stuff is so good that usually you have to sit down. They won't do any takeout. So, but man, we had to wait an hour for takeout. So it just had me thinking how business models have changed, how people make money in that restaurant has changed, and how people, keeps he's saying this new norm, right? What this new norm is like. So like a lot of people, I think a lot of people are going to adapt to that to go order type thing and say, oh, we kind of perfected this because of the pandemic, uh, you know. But I just seen like a lot of weird stuff. Did you see the Chick-fil-A where they have the plastic booth wrapped around the people?
Yeah,
Like
we went.
it's
I went last week. I was like, I'm not cooking. No, we're not cooking enough. Let's go get some Chick-fil-A because she had mentioned it. I was going to get some Chick-fil-A, but we didn't. So I was like, next day, I was like, look, I had load the kids in the car. Let's go to Chick-fil-A. And got in the lines, and then there was one guy out there. He had the iPad and he flipped it with the menu, and then you drove around and they had a lady in the thing, and you had the pay thing, and she was sitting all the way over there. I'm like, God damn! Well, I was like, why y'all just do it the regular way? I guess they're trying to cut down the traffic, between the interactions and shit like that. But yeah, they switched it all up. They switched it all up, man. And
yeah,
I think a lot of people is going to keep doing that, because they're not going to let the restaurants go, but they're going to be like social distancing in the restaurants. They're not going to be at half capacity. You can't have so many people in there. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So they're going to have to keep doing the takeout. And some people are like, man, if you can't get in, you might as well just take the food out to go. So this takeouts thing is going to last, at least for the rest of the year, I think.
yeah. I mean, they got like bodega plastic windows.
Yeah.
at Home Depot. I was
Yeah, I was just there too. It was a goddamn box, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, man?
the cashier is behind, and I'm like, this ain't about to do nothing for them. Like, so common sense will tell you that booth ain't gonna save them from the COVID virus, right?
Huh.
Air flowing all around that booth.
Yeah.
Probably getting stuck inside that booth too. You
Yeah,
know,
it's probably worse, man. You ain't
yeah,
cleaning that shit off every. When somebody sneeze, you don't swipe it off. It's staying right there.
yeah. So here's what I need people to understand is in corporate America, there's a lot of people that are afraid of losing their job, right? And I think the slow move by some of these politicians to reopen is because they're scared to lose their job, right? Because if they reopen and something happens in their town, city, jurisdiction, whatever, they could be liable. They say, "Oh, you opened too early," right? But
Right.
if they wait to everybody else, then it's just like, well, we did what everybody else did. So if somebody got sick, you can't really say it's my fault. You can't fire me. And I think that's what we're seeing, like with the Home Depot and the Chick-fil-A stuff, and whatever. Is somebody's making a decision? They're pulling together teams, and they're saying, "Hey, COVID's threat. How do we become COVID compliant?" You know, uh, you know, based upon governor orders, et cetera, et cetera. So when you give people that type of responsibility who aren't qualified for it, you got to remember none of these people have ever dealt with a pandemic before, alleged pandemic before. So when you give people a job they've never done before, sometimes they just make really stupid decisions. It's just like, yo, you did all of this. But you got to remember they did that just so they can say, hey, we took precautions. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that's the saving grace. Just to say, it's not really to protect you from COVID. It's just to say we took precautions.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. I see that a lot. I see that a lot. Yeah. Definitely. Um, Logan Rocksmith, watch the vaccine come from Israel. Blink twice if you can respond to this.
Oh my God.
But you know what? I think Bibi, they're doing like some countries are enforcing, the tracking on your cell phone and I think they're one of them that are enforcing that. Some countries are putting the tracking on your cell phone, the contact tracing and stuff like that. So they're on the cutting edge of of protection. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
50 Shades of Soul G. Shout out to Tio Hotep and Hotep Jesus for the Miss says I don't know Mrs. says I appreciate discussion for last night and tonight. I hope all y'all are stay. I hope y'all stay blessed. I will catch the remainder on the road tomorrow. All right, man. Stay safe on the road, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Did you get Mary O'Donnell and Steve P?
Yeah, I thought Mary did. Yeah, yeah, I got those
Okay.
last. Um, Boosie. Now I thought this story came out from Boosie like
A while
last
ago.
year. I don't know why this came up again. You know, um, Maybe he mentioned it again. I don't know why he mentioned it again. I don't know, but Boosie has no filter. But he mentioned that I guess his son's 11 and 12 or something like that. He hired the hookers to he gave him some head or I don't know whatever. And the people just went crazy about it. Um, I went to poll. I haven't been on poll like I used to be, but they had a thread about it, and they were like base boost, and he
Oh,
said what he did, right? But reading through the comments, some people from like Italy, some people from like I think the UK, the Italy bull was like, yeah, we do that all the time, man. Like I was like, wow. Like it's a lot of people in Europe. They was like, yeah, man, we do that all the time. Like when the kids, boys get a certain age, we go and get them hookers or some shit like that. I was like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. People want. people want to speak out, about that. Is was something I would do. Like probably not. You know what I mean? But um, that's him. Y'all wanted to leave D Wade alone. I wouldn't do what D Wade did either. People wanted to make that type of comparison. But people want to say they want to try to cancel Boosie. You can't cancel Boosie.
You can't.
He from the streets, man. This is where you have this disconnect, on Black Twitter between the streets and where you know these HBCU niggas, these these college educated niggas come from. There's two different worlds out here, man. They don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they do, or they're just trying to dictate what the streets, but the streets ain't listening because the streets got Boosie's back. You can't cancel Boosie. This where Boosie come from, that's probably the fucking norm, man. That happens probably a lot. You know what I mean? And y'all don't want, like, I've seen some videos from Louisiana. What do they call that music? Is it bounce or something like that? What's that
I don't
music
know.
they got down there? Yo,
Oh, not Go Go.
is it go go? No,
Go
I
Go's
thought,
DC.
yeah, but they. I was like, I seen some videos from Louisiana, and there was like the norm down there. I was like, what? I was like, yeah, it was like that's the culture down there. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I don't know. It's I chalk that up to the culture, little probably Louisiana culture and the hood culture down there.
Yeah, I got, homies. One of my homies, he grew up, you know, I guess you would say in the ghetto. I don't know what the correct term is. But, he was telling me about, we was sitting there smoking a spliff. He was like, he asked me, he said, how old you when you smoked the first spliff? I was like, yo, I think I was like 18, right? I was like in college when I first had my first spliff. I remember it like it was night and day. He's like, man, I was fucking whore since I was 13, nigga. And I was just like, what you just say, nigga? Like, really? Like, he like, yeah, I've been smoking blunts since I was 13. The little homies used to be like, you want to hit this little nigga? And then, like, I was like, damn, like you really been like doing this for a while. Like, so I don't know if I don't think that's a norm in the hood, at least not up here in Jersey. I don't think that's a norm up here in the hood to be trying to groom cats like that. I think it does happen,
Right,
when when you were a little nigga with no dad, you grow up a lot faster.
right,
You like some people say he inherits the man of the house title. So everybody that's around you that become like your street uncles kind of treat you like an equal. They should treat you like a kid. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they treat you as if you're the same age. They treat you like you grown and let you have those privileges. Where I think they should be more responsible. Say no, you can't smoke and don't do this and don't do that. Go home. You know what I mean? Stay in school. That type of thing. But as far as Boosie is concerned, number one, I don't know why he publicized that shit. You know what I mean? You doing wild shit like that, keep it to yourself. Um, I do see the objective thing with, like you said, they do in Europe. Um, I don't think it's right at all. I think a lot of it comes down to homophobia, though, right? And people say it's homophobia. I don't really like that term, but I think there's a legit fear of men having gay sons and wanting to do things to prevent that. And I
mm,
think that was maybe not the driving motive for Boosie, but it was definitely damn sure a factor,
yeah, yeah,
especially with the evidence of the D Wade backlash and all of that.
yeah. Yeah, it is New Orleans bounce, but yeah, some of the videos I was seeing. So this is where they're just a little faster on that type of level. Like you see some of the New Year's bounce videos. Like I've seen, they have Minnie Mouse. They'll have adult strippers dress up as Minnie Mouse, and they'll go to a kid's birthday party and they're twerking. I've seen multiple videos, so I know that happens a lot down there. So if you got in the birthdays, they wasn't like, the kids wasn't teenagers. They was like 5, 6 years old. You know what I mean? That was the birthday. So they get Minnie Mouse, not Minnie. Is it, yeah, Minnie? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, them characters, all them characters. Yeah,
They be
that
like,
Dora the Explorer.
I'm like, yo. And then you have But see, you have the little girls that are 5 or 6. They trying to emulate what they're seeing with that. So it's a different world down there. Boozy comes from a different world. I'm not saying that's like the norm, but it happens more than I think people realize. I think, especially in those type of in that culture environment, whatever you want to call
Yo, side note, do little black girls still jump rope? I
it.
need I need somebody to let me know. I remember when I was young, jumping rope, double dutch. I
Yeah,
mean, I never could double dutch. I had a lot of girl cousins, and they used to double dutch. And they used to be like, come jump. They used to laugh. They used to tell me come jump so they could laugh at me because I didn't know how to do it. Right. So I try to, because I really was like, yeah, how do y'all do this? It's two ropes.
right,
They jumping in there and they turning around and then one of them doing a backflip. Like that used to be like, I thought that was healthy.
right.
And it had a little song with it while they did it. And it's like, I think they put the jump rope down now and now they picked up twerking.
Yeah,
And it's just like, damn, like a little girl gonna learn how to twerk before she learned calculus, you know? And I really feel like for like y'all know how I am with my boys. Like like the boys is on they was on I was teaching them algebra last year and this year we're on calculus. So and they're 10. And I'm not expecting them to be like IBM geniuses, but at least when they get to the high school level and they're confronted with this material, it's not new and foreign to them, which means
right.
they'll score higher scores. And I think we have to, take a look at, what's the benchmark for education? Is it the school or is it the curriculum you set for yourself? So I always say if the school is teaching this, I'm gonna go teach that because it's all related anyway. If you're doing algebra, you still gonna have to learn that subtraction is the opposite of addition, and you're gonna need to pull those facts out of your head anyway. Right? Which is why I think that it's kind of I don't know, that's a whole nother subject. But yeah, Boosie Wild, he need to just stop telling people his business like that about his kids.
Yeah, but you're right, definitely about teaching. I had to teach my daughter some stuff today. I was getting frustrated. I was like, "What are you doing?" I had, like, give me a piece of paper. I had a good piece of paper. I was writing on the goddamn wall. I was like, "You look at me." But you know what? It seemed like she got it a little bit more when I got a little bit more involved with it. Because I was just giving her the schoolwork, but and telling her to do it. See if it's right or wrong. But I'm like, she seemed like she wasn't getting it. So I was like, let me get into it. So I'm gonna have to get into it a little bit more with her. You know what I mean? So for the
You gotta
stuff I
make it
did.
you gotta make it fun. Make
Right.
it fun and brief. You don't
Okay.
want to extend it over hours or long but you gotta make it fun. And I tell a lot of jokes, and I act goofy with the kids when I'm doing my teaching thing. But if you don't make it fun, they won't. The way memory works is you have to want to know the information in order for it to stick, or just through rapid repetition. Always giving them the worksheets, right? Like do
Right.
your times table 20, once a day in under 2 minutes. Go 80 problems, right? Like that can work too. That's not fun, but you and sometimes you have to watch what you reward people with. So always remembering. I think sometimes I made this mistake with my daughter. I never balanced reward with criticism. It was always more criticism than reward. And I feel like it should be the opposite way. When they get it wrong, I think a lot of times we get frustrated and like, come on, like I just said this, right? And da 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 da. I think it's less of that and more of when they do get it right, like a huge celebration. Like, oh, you
Right.
achieved
Right.
it.
Yeah,
That's
that's something
it.
I need to do. I need to
That
do
makes
that.
it fun for them. So now they want to be right the next time and they'll try harder. And that's what I try to do. I try to balance the criticism with the reward.
That's some good Hotep knowledge. I'm gonna have to try that. Um, Daniel Hoke. The hood has been pandemic ready since 1986. Bullet partitions protect you from Rona and Ray Ray. Just ask Brandon. Hey, in Philadelphia, I remember they had city councilmen take all the bulletproof plexiglass down from the Chinese stores and shit like that. Now they putting them shits right back.
Should have left that shit up.
Yeah, should have let that stuff up. Um, Kristen, thank you, Hotep. It's pronounced Mina. That you can call me by my first name. I don't mind. I love you. I love your guys' show. Thank you, Kristen.
Kristen Mina. Okay.
Mina. ObamaGate.
Yeah.
They gonna lock Obama up, man.
Hell no. Obama Teflon, you know. I ain't tweet too much about the ObamaGate. The only thing I said was who got the too long didn't read version of it, you know, just to get a synopsis from what the timeline was talking about, because Twitter did a very great job to hide the facts. Usually, when you go into a hashtag, and keep in mind they bumped that ObamaGate hashtag down, right? ObamaGate. And another thing Twitter likes to do too is, I don't know who's in the office doing this, but let's say you spell it exactly how it looks, ObamaGate. What they'll do is they'll add a suggestion autocomplete that will be a misspelling of ObamaGate, but it'll be described as trending. So you think that's the trending hashtag. So you're playing like a lot of games with that. But anyway, when I clicked the official hashtag and looked in there, it wasn't like how you normally see it when something's trending. Usually you'll see um, a good mix of opinions. It seemed like all the opinions were like all leftists, and there was no news sources. Usually there's a tab available that says news. You hit that and you can see all the news um, sites that covered it. And I know the right was covering it, so they should have been under that tab. That tab didn't even exist for that gate, for that Obama Gate hashtag. They didn't even have that option. So that's when I was like, you know what? I ain't talking about this shit. Y'all not about to black van me.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it too much either, but I, they also announced on Twitter that, they're going to start, removing stuff about if you talk about, the code, what I mean, if you're
Yeah.
not in line with everything else, they're going to start removing it. They're not going to ban, I mean, they ban some folks, but they're not going to just outright ban you. They're just going to remove your tweets and stuff like that, or put disclaimers under some of them. They were like, I was like, how are they doing that? Like, that's just wild to me, that they're doing this. Like, who's fact checking? Who, or who's fact checking? These government sources. You know what I'm saying? You're removing that ability to do that, because if you don't fall in line with what they say, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's, I mean, we see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I got a couple of people. I just want to add some details here. One guy, Justin T. Stone, follows me. He said, in regards to Flynn, it starts off with him being fired because he didn't like the U.S. military propping up ISIL. Very naughty. That's, I'm like, wow. Yeah. Somebody else said he spied on the incoming cabinet, Bimmer Gang. And he said he spied on the incoming cabinet, used the FBI to do it, just like he used the IRS before. FBI said, get Flynn to lie so we can prosecute him. Obama told FBI to withhold and conceal information with future Trump admin, is what William Bentley Blackburn has said. So yeah, if you want to find, I did this. I did this for another reason, not only for my own education, but this thread here. I'll go ahead and I'll get y'all the link. I'll put it in the chat. It'll go in the chat right now. But if you look in that thread of my tweet, um, educate yourself on it, but do your research. They even got the Simpsons saying they predicted it. Obama spying on Trump. So I don't know. This shit is crazy.
um, Colfax, man. You see the Colfax website, man.
I did. I did.
Yo, now I think Vice News, it's starting to pick up steam. I think Vice News covered it. One of the girls that they put on there, it the media picked that up. I think it might have been Australia or somewhere. Um, it's incels, 4chaners, poll, whatever you want to call it. They made up a website of quote unquote coal burners, and if you it's a lot, because a lot of people on these TikTok, see TikTok triggering people again. It triggered people on black and white. So a lot of some of these teenage white girls be making TikTok videos just proclaiming they only sleep with black boys or black men, whatever you want, however old they are, and they're going through those videos and calling them. They're having a cold facts, just like, so if you're a white woman that ever slept with a black dude, you're getting be put on a cold facts. So all they can all know to avoid you because you've been sullied by the black man. you
Yeah.
know, um, That's wild to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was on the collie, and they were putting it up like, look, they're doing that. So a couple of them like, oh, I'm gonna hit all these hoes up, right? And but then some of them, because the collies kind of like, they're kind of like moving towards, I want to say Dr. Umar light. They like Dr. Umar, or there's like their Dr. Umar camp or the Tariq Nasheed camp. You know what I'm saying?
Separatists,
Yeah,
racial separatists.
they're almost like racial set. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are like. So some people are like, "Well, y'all should be liking this site. You should be supporting this site, right?" So I'm like, I don't know. I think that's wild to me. Somebody would spend their time doing that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's just, I don't know. Like, I
I,
think men got to get away from thinking you own the pussy. Like the pussy, they're gonna get the woman's gonna determine she's gonna give you the pussy or not. She owns it, not you. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're kind of trying to hold on. They still own it, um, but it is what it is, man. It's like
it's trashy.
it's wild that somebody would like it's a lot of stuff in there. I'm like, they really went through their time to put up a Colfax. Like,
Like
I'm
you got
like,
to remember, somebody sat down and built this website. They put man hours into this. You know, and I think it's disgusting to do it with women.
yeah,
And so it says the traders, the brainwash, and the traders are basically women who are already um were already with black men, dating black men. The brainwash they're saying is like young girls who could possibly about to be start dating black men. That's another list. And then they got one called paid tolls. Now that one's wild. That one is um basically if a white woman was dating a black dude and something bad happened, like let's say there was domestic violence, or uh now she's a single mom. Like they were putting single moms in there, saying, haha, this is what you get for dating a black man. It's like kind of like the joke that they're talking about. But I think it's disgusting to target women like that. There's a category on here called the cucks. Now that I'm totally fine with, right? Like if dudes want to come at dudes, it's still kind of corny to make a list of dudes. Like you took your time to make this list of dudes, but that's a little bit more honorable than trying to come after girls, because there's really no purpose of this site other than making it. They say it's not a hit list, but that's the only purpose it serves, is for people to go find these people and then harass them online.
right.
And that's like, I get the Umar thing, black people supposed to be with black people. I don't really agree with it, like the way they be acting. You know what I mean? I think they take it overboard. You know what I mean? Like, I I think it's just a lot low IQ shit. But you know how much pussy you have to not get to make that site?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, if you had a girl, you wouldn't be making a list like this.
They mad because they don't get none. They
Like,
looking at all the girls they can't get, and they
listen,
mad.
there's somebody for everybody. Just because you can't get that, you can get something else. You know what I'm saying? And you might even luck up. Because it don't even matter. All you need is money. To be honest, like if you got,
Right.
can get every last one of them Jones. Even though Jones to say I only date Negro, I only he gotta be black. He get his face name gotta be Jamal. You got money. She gonna be like, "Hi, Steve." You know what I'm saying? And come on, man. Like you gotta work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? But building a site to be a Colfax, and that's some of the lamest stuff I've ever seen. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
just like work on yourself. Don't just harass girls because they don't. You know, they might be. I don't know. People change. You know, they might have be a phase, or they just might be trying it out, or they just might be trolling. But now you're really going to. They might heart set in stone. They'll be like, these people gonna harass me because I like Jamal. Man, fuck it. I'm gonna be with Jamal. You know what I'm saying? You people take a, sometimes their defense is like they put their guard up and they dig in. You know what I mean? So it's tactically it's even dumber. But you know that's on them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. That's just disgusting. They need to stop that. Take that down.
Um, you know, I didn't play the whole thing. Baltimore they made a mask up song. Um, you know, I guess that just goes on with trying to keep everybody with their masks and stuff like that. Somebody said Baltimore is the most ghetto city in America. When did Baltimore get like this,
Oh yeah. Baltimore's I don't know when this happened, but isn't that why The Wire existed?
man? That was from Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah, and then after was it Laquan McDonald? Who was it that died down there? The cops. I think the cops killed somebody.
Oh yeah, they put the guy in the van. That was the dude in the van, and they gave him a rough ride. And he ended up breaking his back, I think, and died. I don't know if
Ye
that was Laquan McDonald. I thought Laquan was in Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. It was DC. I think it was that case you talking about. But and I saw this on like a narco documentary. When the narco documentary, it was basically went into Baltimore. They grabbed like drug dealers and started doing like a documentary on them. And the drug dealers are saying, well, the city said that the cops can't come down here no more because of that case. So basically, we got free reign. So the drug dealers, the pimps, the underworld basically do whatever they want. So that wasn't helpful at all either. So I think
Yeah,
that contributes.
it was Freddie Gray. Thank you,
Freddie
Heather.
Gray.
Yeah, Freddie Gray. They built a monument. I mean, not a monument. They built a what's the local like a local gym center. They built a Freddie Gray gym center because I'm not even going to get into it, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, what was the topic that this was tied to?
the Baltimore
Oh, the
made
mashup.
a mask up song. Yeah,
Yeah. So
rappers singing, rapping.
yeah, it's a girl. I saw her, and she. So let me just put my disclaimer out. This is no knock on her. I think I think she's doing the right thing based upon her perception of reality. Right.
Right.
I'm not blaming her at all. I think she did a wonderful job performing and writing this song, and it's great. That said, why black people always the puppet for communism, man? Like it kind of scared me because it was just like, they probably discovered this song and then was like, oh, let's push this. This is great, right? Let's push this because it goes along with the agenda and pushing people away and all the things we talked about earlier. It's just like, damn, like they always trick us to be the mascots of communism, like this commie takeover. And we're like, I saw a girl that was innocent, but all I saw was like, damn, like all I saw was an infected individual mentally who never watched Hoteps Been Told You. uh, but I think it's sad that they use that like that, like and what was it? The mayor,
Yeah.
he was like, this is the official anthem of like the pandemic needs an anthem. What? Like, it's like, y'all trying to push this mask is the new norm stuff. Yeah, I don't like it at all.
No.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's all we got, I think, man.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just oh, Cali shutdown extension. Well, let me just run down some of these other topics real quick. Shout out to California 25th district. Republicans won that, right? Um, Senate Senate voted, brought back the Patriot Act basically. So if they want to look in your browser history without a warrant, they could do that.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Right? That's crazy. So again, that was we talking about conservative. That's y'all crowd. The Senate is Republican. That's Republican. That's y'all peoples. Check your peoples, man. Like what the fuck? Um, but the what you think about the Cali shutdown extension? I think that's really, really stressful.
That was unbelievable because California, the numbers aren't even like bad. Like we never heard any, like they don't have numbers like New York or anything like that. Um, you know, it just, the numbers don't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like in Pennsylvania, I think they were saying like 70% of the cases were in like nursing homes and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So it's like, why are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? We could just work around the nursing homes and stuff like that. Um, but I don't know. It seemed like this stuff is being politicized, but I don't want to get too far into it because you know how they are on YouTube and shit. And I don't want our episode to be smoked again and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think they extended to July or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Uh,
trying to go to the shore, man. They didn't keep playing, man. Like they said, the Jersey Shore is going to be open Memorial Day, so like we're going, I think, the end toward the end of the month, in
oh,
June. So
it's gonna be
hopefully
slammed.
we'll be able to make it. But
It's gonna be slammed. It's gonna be COVID heaven.
yeah,
Whew.
I mean, once it's going to be because people tell me in Florida, man, that like they opened up beaches and you couldn't even get in. They said it was like 4th of July, man. They was like you couldn't even go. Like they was there telling people, nah, you can't. It's overcrowded. You can't get in.
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. And
And
the
for,
other thing was, shout out to the Michigan barber. Um,
oh yeah,
the Michigan barber. They says, this is real foul. Watch this. So, a judge basically told him like, look, until y'all take this dude to court, he's allowed to run his shop,
right.
right? Regulators came in and said, "Oh yeah, well we'll just snatch away his license."
Foul,
I need the nation to support this man, though. Um, but yeah, that's crazy, man. Communism's a bitch, bro. Communism's a bitch. But nah, I just wanted to make sure we highlighted those last few stories.
I think there's a couple super chats that came in
Um,
from Brody.
Brody said Steve been messing up Jamal's game for years. Yeah, like white man, don't you know you're more desirable? You know what I'm saying? In many ways. Remember we talked about that in previous episode? Like you got that money, you could get the black woman or the white woman. And you making stupid websites. Crypto Blood. Shout out to homie Crypto Blood. If y'all not subscribed to his channel, make sure y'all go subscribe to the Crypto Blood channel. Very intelligent individual, coder, um, influential African man. Um, out of Detroit. He's in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency community too. Awesome website, awesome tools he built. He says my city did a track too in Detroit, and he posted the link. Yeah, yeah. We gonna make music out of anything, nigga. You give black people a tragedy, you gonna get an album.
Yo, I swear to God, Flint rappers is fire, man. They came out, you know what I mean? They gave us some dirty water. They can start rapping. They start getting on. I swear to God.
Yeah, redacted. If they were smart, they would like have a record label dedicated to that. The tragedy rap. Brandon Cruz already said, "Yo, I live here in Baltimore. These MFs really loving this quarantine BS. Niggas don't want to work no more. Just dogs in the kennel waiting for master to let them out for playtime." Shout out to the homie Brandon Kuza. Aztec Mecca, thank you. He says, AZ opened up all restaurants. I went in, sat down as soon as they said I was the only one and the only. I was the one and only in the place eating. Less lines, I guess. Wow, really interesting. AZ, huh? Hmm. So yeah, now I ain't got nothing else. Um I reached out to the Black conservative group that was on live last Friday. They between last Friday and over the weekend they had said they wanted to do it again. So potentially we'll be back here tomorrow or on another channel to speak with Black conservatives again. I don't know what they want to talk about or if they will talk about anything, but just stay tuned.
Yeah, well, check me out Sunday, Uncle Hotep Factor, 8 o'clock.
Or, all right, bro. See you next week, man.
I'm gonna see you next week. Peace.
Episode 100.
Episode 100. All right, man.